As we move into these causal relationships, real quick, who can summarize everything about the correlation coefficient? Because it's going to kind of be related. Micah.
The correlation coefficient is kind of like how close they are to the line of best fit, and kind of like how accurate is the line of best fit.
Okay, close and accuracy to line of best fit. A reminder that 1 and -1, is that strong or weak?
Strong.
Strong, and it gets weaker the closer we get to? Zero. Okay, so that's the big idea, and we're going to take that forward. Now, sometimes variables can correlate but aren't related. Sometimes they are related. So today what we're going to look at is like thinking about what's related and why we think they're related. Okay, so it's going to be like nuanced. Maybe they are related, but there's another factor, kind of stuff like that. So with your partner, I'd like you to describe the strength and the sign of the relationship, okay? The strength and the sign of the relationship. I got to hear lots of good stuff. We're going to save a little time. This is the warm-up, and I want us to spend a little more time in the meat of the lesson. So I think the first one's the hardest one. This is actually a strong positive correlation. Let me explain myself. A lot of people would assume negative because as cars get used, their value goes down. This is a new car price. If it's a fancy car, does it start being higher or lower? Higher compared to the other cars. If it's a fancy car and it's a used fancy car compared to the other used cars, is that price higher or lower, do you think? Higher, okay? So that's why it's strong positive. It's not compared to itself where it started. It's compared to the other cars.
What if it's like from the other side? What if it's kind of a janky car?
Well, then it'd probably be a janky, really cheap car when it's used.
So wouldn't that be negative?
No, because it's compared to that one would be different. All right?
This is being general though.
This is used car price, original sale price. Saying if it's higher, it's higher. If it's lower, it's lower.
Oh.
Okay, but it'd still be correlated together. Strong positive correlation, those things. Yes.
I like watching like these
So, number 2, used car price and number of cup holders. I would say weak to no correlation. So, the only thing I thought is I guess SUVs will like trend more expensive, and if it's a bigger car with more seats, maybe there's more cup holders. But do you guys know that like fancy cars from like the early 2000s and 90s, like especially foreign cars, like didn't have many? Because in other countries they're like manuals, or they don't have McDonald's everywhere then, so they like didn't have many cup holders. So it doesn't have much to determine the value of the car. If there was one with cup holders, it'd probably be weak. But if like there's 2 cars and they're about the same type of car, if one had an extra cup holder, it's probably not going to cost more money if it's used. Right? Annika. Okay, next one. Used car price and the number of oil changes. I actually got strong negative. So at first you might be thinking, well, they're taking good care of it, right? They're getting the oil change. But extra oil changes happen when the car has more what? Miles, which is also why the last one is strong negative. The more miles a used car has, the less it costs. If you have 2 cars of the same make and model the same year, the one with more miles in general will cost less. Points. Yeah, you estimate one. Yeah, you do get oil changes if you take good care of it, but also if you have a bunch and you're taking good care, that means you drove a lot. And miles are tough on the car. Okay, so that's. Do you guys see what I said? Some of this is going to be like nuanced and slow and thinker. So that's what we're going to do next. You're going to look at these, and you're going to write a sentence or two describing how you think the variables are related. Like why is this thing changing this thing? What is the reason? So we're focused more on reason than correlation coefficient today. Is it a reason? What is the reason? That's what I want you to work on with your partner. So, looking at cause and effect. Who can tell me what they think's going on in number 1? What are some sentences you could use to look at how those variables might be related? Will Baker.
Well, I mean, if there are kids that are like going to school or something, or like people that are walking somewhere.
Okay, being outside.
They would have to be outside, and they don't want to get wet. So the more rain, the higher chance there is for people to wear jackets.
So you're saying the more it rains, more people will wear jackets because they don't want to get wet?
Yeah.
I could see that. When I was a kid, I never wore rain jackets. Now as an adult, invest in a good rain jacket. It makes life better. Is that the only reason someone would wear a jacket, though?
No.
What might be another variable or factor, Tess? the temperature, right? So that's another thing. What about, I don't know what else would do it. Whether you live in I don't know. Maybe you're less likely because I didn't live in the city, so I was in a car for 15 minutes on the way to school instead of walking. Fashion could be another variable. But it makes sense. The more rainy it is, the more people are wearing jackets to stay out of the rain. Okay, number 2, a school book club. They got books to read. What does it look like this data is telling us about these books, Raymond?
The longer time you read, the more pages you read.
Yeah, the long books take more time. What might be other factors for length of time for a book, though? So that looks true. That looks like a trend. But what might be some other reasons, Evan?
How many words are on the page? How small the words?
Oh, yeah, you get that old person text, right? Like, you ever see those at the library? Like four words per page? They'd be thick. But you can read through that quick. Yeah, what else?
Like, how big the book is, like how long the pages are, kind of, because some books like vary in size.
Oh, like they're small, like a pocket book versus like a huge like atlas or something. So the size of pages, that could also. What else, Will? Oh, yeah, one haiku per page, and just 500 haikus. Yeah, one more.
Personal reading / skill level. Like my friend Alex can read
Oh,
a
yeah.
book in 2 days. I would have to take like 2 weeks.
Some people do this thing called speed reading. I've seen where like.
I can
Okay. 2 more for you and your partner. So let's chat. There's nothing to do here. Who can make sense of this tickets and noise levels at the venue? What's up with that, Stella?
The louder it is, the less people want to come.
Yeah, so this one's a little tricky, right? Because this is a negative correlation, but there's the word number of tickets left. So more tickets left means what about the number of people attending? Less people, which does what to the volume? What could be another factor, though? Like, let's just think. What? Because this one is like not as correlated, maybe. What else? Sally?
Popularity.
Popularity. So, like, well, it's a holiday party, but maybe the profession of people. What happens if it's a party of librarians? Are they just real quiet, or do they let loose extra? Who knows? Yeah. Bob.
So like, if the party serves like alcoholic beverages, then like
Yeah, if there's like a bunch of Kool-Aid and they're all sugared up and they're yelling, I got you. Grant.
How loud a person?
Okay. What about like if there's music in the background and then everybody has to like talk over it or something, maybe too. There could be other factors other than just that, but that is a trend. Does it mean that's the cause for sure? Not necessarily, but definitely a great trend. Number 4. Someone's height and their score on a test. What's going on there, Grant?
I feel like it's mainly just a coincidence, but maybe the taller people, the blood flows to their brain a little bit better.
Taller people get more blood flow.
yeah, facts.
Annika, what did you notice that's making you think there might be another reason?
Because Bob, maybe just shorter kids are younger.
Yeah, it's age 6 to 13. So if you're taller, what age are you more likely to be? 13. Now, what about that one? Does height? So what's interesting with this is height the cause? So even though there is a correlation here, height is not the reason. Age is the reason. So you got to be careful. Because would you be wrong in saying, hey, Emmett? Could someone look at this and say the taller you are, the smarter you are?
Yes.
They could make that statement, but that's only correlation. Is height the cause? No. The age is the cause. So you got to be. Data can be tricky. Did you see anybody on this earth using data to mislead people?
Yes.
Oh yeah, every day.
What if Sam does?
Every day.
Surely
What if
not.
Sam?
So when the thing is the cause, that's called a causal relationship. Have you ever heard this expression? Or maybe you have and didn't understand what it meant. That's pretty common. Correlation does not mean causation. So there's lots of things that are correlated, but it doesn't mean that it is the cause. Okay? Does everybody follow that? So again, correlation does not mean causation. So we have to look deeper. Is it because of this thing? Can we claim correlation either way?
Yeah.
Yes, correlation, definitively we can get a number, the correlation coefficient. We could say there is correlation and we notice a trend, but then you actually, not mathy, You have to dive deeper in to see the reason for the trend. Maybe the trend is because of the variable. Maybe it is not. And that is a tough, nuanced, almost non-mathy thing, right? So, what we're going to do next is you are going to attempt. This is not going to be fast, even though it's only 3 things. You're going to make a slam dunk, 2 variables that are causal. You cannot use the ice cream one. You cannot use the coats one that you already know, okay? You cannot use any of them for the warm-up. So something that's definitively causal. But then, for number 2, I want something that's strongly related, but there might be another factor for the relation, okay? And number 3, I want a weak relation. So something that is not well correlated. What would be an example of things that are not well correlated, okay? Let's get after it. This is going to be riveting video because it'll not pick up your voice as well and I'll have to relay everything. But a couple examples of 2 variables that are for sure causal. Spencer, give me something.
Number of kids who study, number of kids who pass.
The number of kids to study to kids that pass. Or maybe hours of studying to success in passing. Okay, I could see that, I think. Evan.
How organized like the student is and how much people they forget.
Organization to homework forgetfulness. So the more organized, the less you forget. That'd be a strong negative, you're saying? Okay. Finn.
Time in Grand Rapids and number of people that are asleep in Grand Rapids.
So the time of day and the number of people who are sleeping. There's probably some correlation there, right? Okay. And a lot of these, there are other variables we could consider, but those seem like strong causal variables, right? Okay. The next one is kind of fun and tougher. Strongly related, but a third. Oh, I'll tell you mine anyway. Mine, I said, is the size of somebody's feet and their shoe size.
Ooh, I had something related as well.
Yeah, that's
11.
okay. So the next one, what's something that's related, but like there could be a third variable impacting it? Related but third variable. Heidi.
Okay, the amount of people at the beach when it's sunny and hot.
Okay, the amount of people at the beach and it's sunny and hot. That seems like it increases as it gets sunny and hot. What's the other variable you think?
So, like if it's sunny and hot, it might be like certification, and people will have more time to do it.
Oh, so the time of year could matter because like it could be sunny and hot in like September when we're back at school, but there's not a lot of people that could be at the beach that day. Something like that. Oh, third. Okay, I see that. Let's go with John. I just can't hear you.
The popularity of Kanye and how good his music is.
Popularity of Kanye and how that is. So he's. What's the third? What's the other variable? Oh, saying crazy things. Okay, that does seem relevant. So popular, like if it was just based on music and artistry, more popular than he is right now. You're thinking? Okay. Reel it in. I like that. That's a relevant example. Stella. Hey guys, we need to expedite this process because our transitions were a little slower than the other class. Last one. I'll tell you mine. Actually, really quick. Mine is there is a relationship between the amount of red meat consumed and heart issues, but I think this is just personal. I haven't deep dove it. If you could eat red meat and eat clean, but I think the most common red meat is burger. And if you're eating burger, usually you're putting it on bread and eating it with French fries and a sugary soda. And maybe the burger isn't the reason. I don't know. But I'm just saying there could be other factors there. Lastly, only weekly related. Let's get 2. Stella, give me one that's weekly.
Can I do the one before? Because you picked me, but then you picked yours.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Stella.
The noise level in a classroom, the amount that how good people did on the homework. The third variable could be if people were working together.
Noise level in the classroom, how well they did on an assessment. Yeah, because a lot of times I ask you to talk. Like a lot of times in here, it's like math noisy, right? Third variable is on taskness. Okay, now, weekly related. Let's get one. Emmett.
People who wear flannel in the U.S. and average income salaries in Tokyo.
Flannel in U.S. average salary in Tokyo. Yes, unrelated. No, maybe weekly related. Because it changes the price of the flannel.
Some people